Hello everyone, we're from group 6. So today we're going to discuss about chapter 7, segmentation, target marketing and positioning. This is our table of contents, the topics we're going to discuss further today. The first one is target marketing, select and enter market. The second one is segmentation. The third one is targeting, and the last one is the fourth, positioning. So the first topic we're going to discuss is target marketing, as we have seen before. Select and enter market. When doing a marketing, it is very important to understand people's differing needs because technological and cultural advances create diverse conditions. This diverse condition in the society is called market fragmentation. So what is actually market fragmentation? It is the division of numerous consumer groups to the diversity of distinct needs and wants in a modern society, since people have diverse interests and background. Now, since we have this diverse interests and background, we have distinct needs and wants, the same goods or services will not appeal to everyone. For example, in buying clothes, I prefer clothes which is black clothes, for example. Not everyone will have the same interests as I do. And those black shirts that I love will not appeal to everyone. So this is this kind of example. So instead of trying to sell the same thing to everyone, marketers, of course, use this strategy, which is target marketing strategy. Actually, marketers, it is very effective for marketers only to sell one thing, one product to everyone, since it is less costly. First of all, the cost of production is less, since we don't have to have various kinds of, for example, in producing shoes, we don't have to have different colors of shoes because different color of shoes means more production cost, of course. And also when trying to advertise those products, we also have to have more cost in the cost of advertisement, cost of promotion and stuff like that. That is why for marketers it's actually more effective for them to try to sell the same thing to everyone or one product to everyone. But consumers think differently. Why? Because actually we as a consumer wants the product to be advertised, for example, special for us. The product to be just for us. For example, I love a black shirts, for example. The clothes that are black. Of course, I want the marketers to actually market the black shirts so that it is appeal to me, appeal to uh, me as a lover of black shirts. But actually, it is very unrealistic if we think. But of course, to make consumers want to buy their product, uh, marketers adopt this strategy, which is target marketing strategy. So what is actually this strategy? It is to divide the total market into different segments based on the consumer's characteristic, and then we select one or more segments and develop the products to meet the needs of those specific segments. To understand further about this topic, our group decided to use Ismay Group as an example. So Ismay Group is a company engaged in hospitality sector, which are segmented into 3 different segments. As we can see, hospitality sector is a broad sector. And then Ismaya is actually already adopting the target marketing since they have segmented the hospitality sector into 3 segments, which is restaurant and bars, catering services, and also event organizers. After they have chose the segments, for example, the first one, restaurant and bars, and then they develop those restaurant and bars into, like, as we can see, different kind of restaurant and bars such as Blowfish, Social House, Pasta de Waraku, and other restaurants. As we can see, this is a very well-known restaurant. And also this segment sells product which is food products or the food industry. And then the second segment is catering services. So it's a little different. This is also they also provide food or serve food, but this is more of the service. They provide service. They have catering service, which is my catering. So basically, they serve catering for events such as weddings and also meetings and stuff like that. And then the last one is event organizer. So they actually focus on events, which is music events such as concert and music festivals. We also can see that this Festivals under the Ismaya group is very well known, such as with the Fest, WTF, DWP, Jakarta Warehouse Project, and also Jakarta Culinary Festival. So this is the example of target marketing strategy using Ismaya group as an example. Next, after this, we're going to discuss about segmentation.
Okay, now I'm going to talk about segmentation. The segmentation itself means the process of dividing a larger market into smaller pieces based on one or more meaningfully shared characteristics. The objectives of the market segmentation itself is to pay proper attention to some precise area, to ensure proper database marketing usage, and to acknowledge real competition in the market. Meanwhile, the importance of the segmentation itself is to promote proper selection of target market, to assist in accessing the strength and weakness of the company, and to balance proper coordination between the customers and the company. Okay, there are some way to make a segment consumer markets. The first one is by demographics, psychographics, and by behavior. The demographics itself is a statistic that measure observable aspects of a population, including age, gender, family life cycle, income, and social class, ethnicity, and by place of residence or geography. This is used to identify the best potential customers for a good service. What kind of things do they need or they like? Okay, the first one is segment by demographics, specifically by age. Not all age groups are equally interested in buying some certain goods. So there are some things called generational marketing, which means marketing to a member of a generation who tend to share the same outlook, values, and priorities. Example, there are 4 different types of generation: Generation Z, Y, X, and baby boomers. All of them, of course, they have a different taste, a different kind of products that they need on their age. Generation Z are digital natives, which means individuals who spend a big chunk of their time online. So to sell product, they expect the brands to engage with them in two-way digital conversations. Meanwhile, in Generation Y, they are the first generation to grow up online. So most of them use smartphones and tablets to access social media. It is hard to reach them through traditional media. The next one is Generation X, which most of them already in a stage where they have an entrepreneurial talent. So maybe the products that they need is some kind of clothes for a meeting, like to meet a client, clothes like a blazer or something. Meanwhile, for the baby boomers, many of them already settle in their life. So many of them have a lot of money, so they have a good spending capabilities. So sorry for the typo. So the kind of products that may need is products that appeal to active lifestyle seniors, or maybe the kind of that can bring back the youth memories, which have a nostalgia theme. Next is by gender. Men and women generally have a different likes, dislikes, needs, and etc. For example, shoes, fashion apparels, and accessories, and fragrance. For men, maybe the kind of shoes that they need is a basketball ones for shooting the hoops with the guys. Meanwhile, the girls or the women maybe like some kind of dress or makeups or accessories, something like that. On the fashion apparel and accessories side, men may be more interested in t-shirts than the women. Then the women maybe like the dress selection or the shoes like high heels or something like that. And the fragrance, most of the fragrance is made for a specific gender, like it is made for men, the scent is made for men, and the other one, the scent is made for women. But here are some tips for the company. Be careful not to assume gender stereotypes. For example, pink is for a feminine color and blue is for masculine color. Why? Because this kind of things could easily make the brands look sexist, which can cause the controversial things for the customers. Next is the family life cycle. Consumers in different life cycle segments are unlikely to need the same products, or at least they may not need these things in the same quantities, because the family needs and expenditures change over time. For example, the young bachelors and newlyweds, they tend to go exercise, to go to the bars and movies, or consume alcohol and go to a party. Meanwhile, the older couples and the bachelors like to spend their money on a maintenance service. On the other hand, the seniors one like to buy something for their age, for example, golf products, or as I said before, something that can bring back their youth memories. Cultural change continually create new opportunities as people's roles change. Okay, if we link our topic to Ismaya Group, the first one, they will look at the trend. They will look what kind of music do people hear nowadays, what kind of trend that is going on nowadays, something like that. And then they will listen to their customers' requests because usually the customers tend to contact the Ismaya Group maybe via social media or something, and they will set some certain artists that they want to watch, for example. Please bring Dua Lipa to Indonesia or something like that. And then the group will decide who to invite, and then maybe they will contact the promoter, make a contract or something like that, and make it as contract. Ismaya will make a survey, or they will see what the market wants, what their target markets wants.
Hello everyone, I'm going to continue explaining about segment by demographics ethnicity. So a consumer's national origin is often a strong indicator of his or her own preferences for specific magazines or TV shows, foods, apparel, and leisure activities. Marketers need to be aware of these differences and sensitivities, especially when they invoke stereotypes to appeal to consumers of diverse races or ethnic groups. For example, number one is African Americans. The Disney TV show Doc McStuffin that stars an African American, the character who fixes toys in her backyard, clinic illustrates this appeal. The blockbuster show sold about $500 million in merchandise last year. Its success reflects demographic changes in the United States that create opportunities for a diversity of ethnic characters. Example number two is about Asian Americans. So a company called BuzzFeed makes an effort to court Asian Americans by publishing content on topics and experiences highly relatable to this group, such as quizzes tailored to specific Asian subsegments, like 22 signs you grew up with immigrant Chinese parents and 21 annoying comments Filipinos are tired of hearing. This approach to delivering fresh and specifically relatable content to different segments enables BuzzFeed to connect with distinct culture groups of Asian Americans as well as other types of consumer segments. And it also makes BuzzFeed attractive to marketers who want to develop content marketing that will resonate with specific customer groups. And then there is content marketing. So content marketing is the strategy of establishing thought leadership in the form of bylines, commenting opportunities, videos, shareable social images, and infographics. An important outcome of the increase in multi-ethnicity is the opportunity to increase cultural diversity in the workplace and elsewhere. Cultural diversity, a management practice that actively seeks to include people of different sexes, races, ethnic groups, and religion, and an organization's employees, customers, suppliers, and distribution channel partners. So, marketing organizations benefit from employing people of all kinds because they bring different backgrounds, experiences, and points of view that help the firm develop strategies for its brands that will appeal more to diverse customer groups. Okay, next. Next is about segment by demographics, place of residence. Recognizing that people's preferences often vary depending on where they live, So geographic segmentation is an approach in which marketers tailor their offerings to specific geographic areas because people's preferences often vary depending on where they live. Geographic Information System or GIS, such as like Google Earth and other similar application of GIS, have ramped up geographic approaches to segmentation. A GIS system can elegantly combine a geographic map with digitally stored data about the consumers in a certain area. Thus, market information by geographic location is much more convenient for use in marketing planning and decision making than ever before. The next one is about geodemography. So it is a segmentation technique that combines geography with demographics. When marketers want to segment regional markets even more precisely, they sometimes combine geography with demographics using this technique, this geodemographic technique. And one interesting specific approach to location-based targeting is geo-targeting, which in internet marketing refers to determining the geographic location of a website visitor and delivering different content to that visitor based on his or her own location, such as country, region, or state, city, organization, IP address, or other criteria. Ultimately, highly precise geodemographic segmentation enables marketers to practice micro-marketing. So what is micro-marketing? Micro-marketing, which is the ability to identify and target small geographic segments that sometimes amount to just one or a few individuals. Next is about segment by psychographics. Demographic information is useful, but it doesn't always provide enough information to divide consumers into meaningful segments. Although we can use demographic variables to discover, for example, the female college student segment uses perfume. We won't be able to tell whether certain college women prefer perfumes that express an image of, say, like flowery rather than masculine scent. Psychological segment consumers in terms of psychological and behavioral similarities such as shared activities, interests, and opinions. Some marketers and their creative agencies develop their own psychographic techniques to classify customers. And last but not least, there is one segment that combines a psychographic or lifestyle component with a heavy dose of generational marketing is the gamer segment, sometimes referred to as the gamer generation. Next, segment by behavior. So people may use the same product for different reasons, on different occasions, and in different amounts. So in addition to demographics and psychographics, it is useful to study what consumers actually do with the product. Behavioral segmentation slices consumer segments on the basis of how they act toward, feel about, or use a certain product. One way to segment on the basis of behavior is to divide the market into users and non-users of a product. Then marketers may attempt to reward current users or try to win over new ones. And then marketers who use segment by behavior often use this rule called 20 per 80 rule, meaning 20% of purchases account for 80% of the product sales. This rule means that it often makes more sense to focus on the smaller number of people who are really into a product rather than on the larger number of who are just casual users. And then a related concept to the 20 per 80 rule in behavioral segmentation is usage rate. So usage rate, which reflects the quantity purchase of frequency of use among customers of a particular product or services. And then another way to segment a market on the basis of behavior is to look at usage occasions. or when consumers use the product most. Next, last but not least, about segment B2B markets, business to business markets. Segmentation helps B2B markets better understand their customers. Organizational demographics also helps a B2B marketer understand the needs and characteristics of its potential customers. B2B market may also be segmented on the basis of the production technology they use and whether the customer is a user or a non-user of the product. And then B2B market often consult general information business and industry databases on the web such as Yahoo Finance for insight and up-to-date information or private and public companies worldwide. That is all from segmentation. Thank you.
Okay, if we link our topic to Ismaya Group, the first one, they will look at the trend. They will look what kind of music do people hear nowadays, what kind of trend that is going on nowadays, something like that. And then they will listen to their customers' requests because usually the customers tend to contact the Ismaya Group maybe via social media or something, and they will set some certain artists that they want to watch, for example. Please bring Dua Lipa to Indonesia or something like that. And then the group will decide who to invite, and then maybe they will contact the promoter, make a contract or something like that, and make it as concert. Ismaya will make a survey, or they will see what the market wants, what their target markets wants.
Ariana. So I will explain to you guys about the targeting. So the targeting definition itself is a strategy in which marketers evaluate the attractiveness of each potential segment and decide in which of these groups they will invest resources to try to turn them into customers. So it's like we are targeting customer, like who we are going to tell our market to and to share our market to. So there are three phases of targeting. The first one is the evaluate market segments. So it means like there are several questions that we should think of before targeting the customers. It's like we should know which customer is okay or it suits well to our market. And the second one, we have develop segments profile, which means that develop the type of customer for the market. And the last one is choose a targeting strategy, which means like marketer must decide on targeting strategy. Like should the company go after one total market or one of several market segments or even target customers individually. So the first step is evaluate market segments. So the first question that we should really consider is, are members of the segment similar to each other in their product needs and wants, and at the same time different from customers in other segments? And the second one is that can marketers measure the segments? And the third one is the segment large enough to be profitable now and in the future? And the last one is, can marketing communication reach the segment? And the second step is develop segments profile, which means that once a marketer identifies a set of usable segments, it is helpful to generate a profile of which to really understand segments member needs and to look for business opportunities. Like the segments profile is a description of the typical customer in that segment. A segment profile might, for example, include customer demographics, the location, the lifestyle information, and a description of how frequently the customer buy the products. So it means like we have Ismaya as our example. Ismaya is a food and beverage company. It's like that. Ismaya itself should target the customer, like who gonna eat there. Like Ismaya serve Western food, like who likes Western food? Like do they live in a city or do they live in an urban, and so on and so on. So it's like according to a demography and the information of the customer, so which one of the customer will buy our products. And the third one is choose a marketing strategy. It's like differentiation or not. It is divided into two, like the first one is undifferentiated. It means like appealing to a broad spectrum of people. So it's like they are targeting broad people, not only individuals or groups, but like the whole society. And second one is differentiation, like develops one or more product for each of several customer groups with different product needs. So it's like, for example, I made several products and each of the product is targeting a different customers, like according to their needs and according to their demography. So there are 4 types of marketing strategy. The 2 of them I just said, that the undifferentiated and the differentiated market. And the third one is the concentrated or niche marketing. It's like concentrate on one or a few segments of niche, and it's like more individually or more group. And the fourth one is the micro marketing. It's like local, they are divided into 2. The first one is local marketing and the second one is individual marketing. Like local marketing is like cities and neighborhood specific store. It's like uh, a small shop or maybe a small market, and if individual marketing is only to one person. So the marketing targeting strategy is like from the whole people to the narrow people. It's like from the society and only to the individual.
My name is Alia, and I will be presenting to you on positioning. So, positioning is developing a marketing strategy to influence how a particular market segment perceives a good or service in comparison to the competition. And a key word in this chapter is perceives, which is positioning is in the eye of the beholder. Positioning sometimes is just a matter of making sure that cool or popular people are using your product and that others are observing them doing so. And here are steps in positioning. The first step is to analyze competitors' positions. So in order to develop an effective positioning strategy, marketers must understand the current lay of the land. So it's a good idea to consider things like what competitors are out there, or how does the target market perceive them. The second step is to define your competitive advantage. So it's important to offer a good or service with a competitive advantage to provide a reason why consumers will perceive the product as better than the competition. Here, positioning statement is an expression of a product's positioning that is internally developed and maintained in order to support the development of marketing communication that articulates the specific value that is offered by a product. So this typically includes segments to which the product is targeted, and the most important claim to be attributed to the product for the targeted segments. And it is also the most important piece of evidence that supports the claim that is made about the product. The third step is to finalize the marketing mix. So the elements of the marketing mix must match the selected segment. The good or service must deliver benefits that the segment values, and this can be convenience or status. And it also must add value and satisfy the consumer needs. The final step is to evaluate responses and modify as needed. So over time, the firm may find that it needs to change which segment it targets or even alter a product's position to respond to marketplace changes. Repositioning in this case is redoing a product's position to respond to the changes in the marketplace. Another thing here is the existence of retro brands, which is a once popular brand that has been revived to experience a popularity comeback, and it often is riding by a wave of nostalgia.
Hello, my name is Abel, and I would like to continue my friend's presentations, Alia. And now I'm going to present about the brand personality. Brands are like people. Oftenly, we describe them in terms of personality trait. We may see some store, car, perfume, and think or say that they are expensive, elegant, cool, sexy, or many others. That's why it creates a brand personality. Brand personality itself, in a definitions, is a distinctive image that captures a good or service's characters and benefits. One of a good way to create a brand personality is by make a marketing actions that make the brand seems more human. It's called brand anthropomorphism. Brand anthropomorphism is the assignment of human characteristics and qualities to a brand. Ismaya also can implement this brand anthropomorphism to their brand. For example, is by making interactions with their customers in their social media, such as Twitter or Instagram, by replying their comments or critique, and many others. The second one, as we know, Ismaya also have a event of concert music festival like with Fest or Jakarta Warehouse Project. They can also implement this brand anthropomorphism by making a mascot for their commercial or advertisement, so they can more engage the customers. Okay. The next one is about the perceptual map. Part of creating a brand personality is to develop an identity for the product that the target market will choose or prefer this brand rather than any other competing brands. How do the marketers determine where their product actually stands in customer minds? It is by asking the customer itself what is the important characteristic that make a brand interesting, or how competing alternative would rate of these attributes too. Then, after they ask and know the consumers' perceptions, or after they interviewing the customers, they can make a perceptual map. Perceptual map is a technique to visually describe where brands are located in consumer minds relative to competing brands. For example, if Ismail wants to create a new concept of fast food restaurant in US, they can implement this perceptual map. Suppose they want to make a new publication that will appeal fast food lovers in US. Then you try to ask them, and after you ask few of them, and after interview a sample of people, you might identify two key elements of question that they would like to ask before they choose to go to the fast food restaurants. The first one is whether the fast food restaurant has a wide choice of menu or limited choice of menu. And the second one is whether the restaurant serve healthy food or junk food. As we see in here, there are a few brands that already have their own positions in the junk food or the healthy food, in the wide choice or limited choice. Ismaya then might try to locate an unserved or underserved area in this perceptual map to make their brand compete with any other brands. That's all from our group, and thank you for listening.